Hello, hello, my dear.
Hi, Jenna. How are you?
I'm good, Barbara. How are you?
Wonderful. Happy to be here.
Yes, well, I am as well. And despite having some unfortunate LinkedIn technical difficulties, we are here. We're making it work. If anybody decides to or able to trickle in on the Zoom, we're really hoping that they can. And if not, that's okay too, right?
Absolutely.
Great learning
Absolutely.
experience.
Yep.
All right. So today we are here to talk about thought leadership. What is it? Learning the art of thought leadership. And both of us are just so empowered by this conversation. For those of you who don't know, I am a holistic business and mindset coach. And Barbara and I actually go way back. So I'll let her introduce herself. But the irony of how this is coming together is just so the synchronicity. I just love it. So Barbara, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yes, absolutely. So my name's Barbara Ellen Leicht. Those of you who know me from high school would know me as Barbara Wilcox, and I'm a mindset career coach. I've been practicing for over 10 years, and I consider myself a former teacher, forever educator, because I really leverage my master's in education to blend a really unique person-centered, strengths-based, inclusive approach to help people have the highest quality mindset they have to navigate and develop their career.
Yes, I love that. I love how you said an educator or forever educator, teacher, but a forever educator. That's so critical. Lifelong learners and educators. So yeah, so thought leadership. When you and I were discussing, I remember seeing back in the fall, you had just started your new coaching business, and I was so excited for you. And we hadn't talked in forever. We used to play soccer together in high school, so it's just so ironic. We've known each other for 20, 25
I
years.
know. I know, that's bonkers. I remember
Wild.
soccer, AP Economics, we sat next to each other, like the whole thing.
Oh, good old Mrs. Brazil. So well, we've been having these conversations about thought leadership because truly you are a thought leader in your field. All of your experience, and I just want to give you an extra exciting shout out because you were just on the main platform at Disrupt HR, which is really awesome. So congratulations to you.
You.
And
Thank you.
so thought leadership, I remember when we were talking, you said somebody had just said, "Well, Barbara, you're a thought leader in the field," and you were like, "Really? Wait, I am? Oh my goodness, maybe I am." And so that's when we kind of decided, like, what is the formal definition of thought leadership, and then what is our definition, right?
Right,
So
right.
the formal definition of thought leadership is somebody who becomes known in a particular subject matter, right? They are an expert, and so other people come to them in this particular matter, in this particular field. When you had asked me, so what is your definition of thought leadership? And I remember thinking, that's a good question. I hadn't really given myself an opportunity to think about it. Um, Given that opportunity, what really dropped in for me was a thought leader is somebody who is consistently and intentionally leaning into the greatest expression of their higher self and somebody who invites other people to do the same. Right. So being a thought leader in a particular field, I guess it doesn't necessarily matter which field you're in, as long as you're showing up as best possible and you're bringing intention into that particular field. And I thought it was just so awesome to bring you into this as a career coach and somebody who's supporting people in identifying what field they want to be in and then how do you get there, right?
Right, right. And
So your
kudos to you,
thoughts.
Oh, go ahead.
No, your thoughts.
Kudos to you, Jenna, because you really embody, you are a holistic and mindset business coach, and you really embody that practice. If you reflect upon Jenna's definition, that is an incredibly and empowering definition, holistic definition of thought leadership. That is, it's inclusive, it helps empower and champions people's ideas. So I really appreciate your perspective of and definition of thought leadership. And I want to give you credit as well because it was back in January, I think, the beginning of the year, that you actually introduced me to this concept. You were the one who had said, "Hey, thought leadership, what do you think?" You introduced me to that concept. And then through a professional development training I took, and then a meeting afterward around March 1, then it was echoed back to me by this really amazing woman-owned business called Moxie Creative Studios. If anybody is looking for social media management savvy, I highly recommend you follow them on LinkedIn and Instagram. And it was then reflected back to me, oh, thought leadership. And I was like, wow. So kudos to
Coming
you
at
for,
you at all different, the
right,
universe, right? Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
So
So cool.
kudos to you for introducing that to me and helping that be part of my awareness. And then that attraction, divine timing, divine alignment, synchronicity. So I give you a lot of credit for that.
Awesome. Oh, well, I received that and I thank you. Okay, so when we're talking about thought leadership in your field and really leaning into the art of how to do that, what would you say are some really interesting and critical tips, tricks, and all that really fun stuff?
Absolutely. So if we're talking about the niche of mindset and career coaching in general, somebody's career development, two specific things come to mind. First is the mindset behind it. So the awareness of you yourself as a thought leader and affirming that for yourself,
Mm,
believing in that. Just like Jenna accepted and received, the credit given to her, I would invite and encourage anyone to accept and receive that within them. And piggybacking off of an earlier conversation Jenna and I had, it's really not just if you're in a defined leadership role, right? It's not
right.
just if you're a supervisor, a manager, or director. Thought leadership spans the continuum of different roles within your career. Whether you're a contributor, a coordinator, whatever you want to put it, you can still be a thought leader. So I would first invite you to embrace that concept and to nourish that within yourself. And then how it shows up is just the most authentic little spaces here and there, whether it's in a
Yeah,
meeting and it's a new idea that you have and you're brave enough to position it, or you're piggybacking off of somebody else's idea and you're adding innovation or insight to it. It shows up in meetings, it shows up in different social media posts you do, whether you're curating
absolutely.
or creating content. Do you have a blog? Do you have a newsletter? There's so many ways you can kind of baby step your way into this to embrace it and become comfortable with it.
I love that concept of baby stepping into it. And I love the thought that you don't have to be a business owner. You don't have to be, a Tony Robbins to be considered a thought leader. Yes, he is an amazing thought leader. Yes, there are amazing thought leaders all over the world who are a common name, household name. But
Right. Brene
thought
Brown.
Brene Brown, yeah, thought leadership it is right here in how you show up, and it's that awareness and that concept, and it's a choice, right? It's a choice to lean into your field, into learning as much as you can about that field. Um, some of the concepts, and I know you and I have kind of piggybacked on this in our conversations, but when I think of learning the art of thought leadership, I think of vulnerability being credibility, right? Thought leaders are really vulnerable in what they do. And that helps to increase their credibility within the market and within their particular field. Vulnerability, hey, guess what? Our LinkedIn Live, I created an event, I'm the organizer, and then for some reason I can't start it. So that's pure vulnerability right there, and I'm hoping that anybody who sees this and anybody who's participating can laugh with us, right? Being able to A thought leader is able to really take some discontent that they're experiencing, not only having the awareness that they're in discontent, but shift that discontent to curiosity and really focus and lean in on how can we overcome these setbacks? How can we overcome these challenges? And I got to give it to us, Barbara, because I we did that. We did it in the spur of a moment, and I started to panic a little bit. I felt the cortisol levels, like, oh my goodness, I had a dream about this, right? And you were like, it's fine. We're good. This is great learning. And I'm like, hey, she is a thought leader right here because she's turning this discontent into curiosity, and she's really just helping to calm me down. So I appreciate that from you. And just really knowing, thought leaders know that we live in a supportive universe, right? And that the success that we're so desperately seeking is also seeking us. And
Mm.
so to your point, right, when we choose to identify and declare ourselves, I am a thought leader. I am a thought leader in this field. I am a thought leader in the field of coaching. I am the thought leader in the field of marketing. I am a thought leader in the field of financial services, whatever it may be, right? Identifying, declaring that, and really intentionally living into that, knowing that the universe has our back and it's going to support us. It's what in whatever we're energizing. Your
Right.
thoughts?
There again is that putting into action that holistic approach where we say vulnerability is power, vulnerability is empowerment, and
Mhm.
you're allowed to have healthy boundaries with that, right? You're allowed to
Always,
know when you're,
please.
yeah,
Right?
when you're
Please
going to be
do.
when you're going to be transparent and with whom. So I hear from you again, modeling that holistic approach of invulnerability is empowerment, and also knowing you are supported, knowing that you show up the best you can, you do the best you can do because you have value, and an inherent value no matter what. So
Yes,
your best is
absolutely.
enough, and the rest you give up, or you just trust. I don't mean to say you give up like you stop trying. I mean to
Yeah.
say you trust that the rest is supported. And I'll tell you what, from a career coach perspective, that will carry you in your job search and your career development the longest way possible. And one of the
Mm,
main things, I've worked with literally over 6,000 people within Rochester, New York, spanning
yeah.
that career. And I can tell you there are some universal truths out there. And the universal truths are
Yeah.
that you will land, you
Hmm.
will land, and you will get to where you want to go. It's just the difference of, am I going to get there having been stressed out and having felt defeated and having felt drained and despondent? Or am I going to get there with a little bit of empowerment and a little bit of self-care and some balance and feeling really nurtured and supportive? So you're going to get to where you go, but it's like, are you enjoying the journey along the way? So
Yeah.
your holistic definition of thought leadership is so supportive of that idea of enjoying the journey.
Enjoying the journey. And also, let's be realistic. Thought leaders educate themselves, right?
Mm.
They're constantly reading and they're excited and motivated by what they're taking in by others. They have that abundant mindset, that prosperous mindset that says, look, I'm not here to compare myself to Barbara. Yes, we're both coaches. Yes, we're both females. And we live in the same city too, right? So, but there's more than enough people. And of the 6,000 people that you're talking about, I, I mean, I it's huge. It's amazing.
Right.
I'm sure I may have crossed paths with them, but who knows? I mean, there's how many people in this beautiful city that we live in, and so there's more than enough. So consistently educating yourself, having a coach yourself.
Mm.
Most thought leaders that I know,
Mhm.
um, they get coaching. They get coaching. We can only see what we're doing from a 6,000 foot view, right? The coaches are able to take that 30,000 foot view. And so I know that as I continue to grow my own practice, one area that I want to get better at and I want to hone my skills is speaking. And so I recently just hired a speaking coach in a speaker school, and I'm super pumped to start it. But this is just something that I know for myself. If I want to continue to lean into that greatest expression of my higher self and grow and hone my thought leadership skills, got to get a coach, right? What are your thoughts
That
on anything I'm saying? Yeah.
that is so exciting, Jenna. I think of you
Mm.
already as such a energetic and magnetic speaker, right? I think earlier I said luminescent because the
Oh,
light just emanates from you. So the
you're the
next
best hype girl.
I said, well, I'm strength based, right? I'm
Yeah,
strength. And I always
you
say to
are.
people, thank you. I say, it's all true, right? I don't sugarcoat. I really don't, but I see the genuine strengths based characteristics of people. And so to see you like reach next level heights with speaking is going to be so, so, so exciting. So kudos to you.
Thank
And
you.
yes, and to your point earlier regarding, we're peers, we're both coaches,
Yeah,
we both have the holistic mindset approach. One thing about thought leadership to keep in mind is your niche, knowing
yeah,
your niche, knowing that specific population you serve, and at least two reasons why that's so empowering. from a career development and even business development standpoint. At least two reasons. One, it actually cuts down on competition. You're not going to have that competitive mindset. You're going to have that community mindset, because
Yes.
Jenna and I have separate niches. And the amount of people I've been able to build community with and collaborate with and reach out to, because I realized, oh, we have differentiated niches. Even if they overlap, it doesn't matter. We're not in competition, we're in community. And
Mhm.
then that leads to collaboration. So I
Yeah.
want you to remember your niche when you're a thought leader. Another reason that serves you well is it's less overwhelming,
Yeah.
right? Now you have a scope. You have a focus to what you're speaking to what content you decide you're creating, to the lens you decide to take on that matter at hand. So if you're thinking, well, I can't be a thought leader, the market's already saturated. It's not saturated because it doesn't have your unique spin and your unique take on it. So
Yes.
remember your niche. Niche builds community and it builds business.
I love the last part of what you just said so much, because in my particular niche, when I'm working with financial advisors, right, a lot of their unique abilities and their skills within their career, right? There's an abundance. There's a lot of financial advisors, and what their role is, even though it is a brilliant one and it is very, very much needed, it's difficult because in the life insurance industry, a lot of people, you don't really need it until, until you do, right?
Right.
And then you can't get it. So identifying not only what your niche is, but then living in that universe where it's like, look, there's more than enough people, right? Build your community. There's more than enough for everybody. And so I love that you just said that, because it really is so critical when you're looking at your business as a business owner to recognize that abundant and prosperous mindset. Thought leaders live into there is more than enough, not the not enough concept, but that, look, you just got to find your tribe. That's it. We all have our tribe. That's going back to we all live in a supportive universe. And so finding your tribe, thought leaders find their tribe. They know their niche, they find their tribe, they live into that, they lean on their community, right? When we had this conversation, you and I said, well, I'm so excited for you to start this. I know you've kind of been in this field, but you're transitioning yourself. What are your thoughts about doing a webinar? Because I'd love to be able to lean on you as I embark on this next step. And I'd love to help support you as you do the same. And you were like, yes, let's do it, right? So it's leaning on that community, which I love it. Love, love, love.
Community and collaboration to a T. And I have to say too, if anyone here wants a really, I think to me, profound and expert example of thought leadership in action, and we're talking the authenticity and the unique perspective, I'm going to tell you, follow Jenna on LinkedIn. Like literally don't just like link in with her, but follow her, look at her posts, look at her on Instagram, because Jenna, your content is so high quality.
Oh, thank
It
you.
is.
Thank
Because
you.
you're welcome, because it's genuine and it's unique. It has your spin on it. It's authentic, obviously. And I would say that's probably the first thing as a thought leader. You need that authenticity. You have to believe in your values and what you're saying, but then it's also genuine and unique. And
Yeah.
I know genuine and authentic are similar, but to me, they're slightly nuanced here in the sense that like you have the authentic value and then you genuinely put it out in the world where it's really mirrored. So I would encourage anyone here to do that. Jen is a great example in her content.
Well, and I all the same to you, my dear, all the same to you. Because truly, when you have that strength-based, person-centered focus, you really get to the heart of what's going on for somebody, why they want to transition, and supporting them and bridging that gap and that cognitive dissonance, which is, it's really critical, right? Career coaching and marrying it with the mindset is absolutely huge, absolutely huge. So I really honor you. And I also want to do some shout outs. I know that we talked about doing some shout outs to some thought leaders that we know in common. And one would be Jessica Lewis. She's local and she is just such an amazing queen to the industry. She's in PR, she's in marketing. We went to high school with her as well, and watching her following her and all the impact that she's having on not only just this city, but really the world is so honoring and empowering. And another would be Megan Heisner. She's one of my best friends for 30 years. And what she's doing, her thought leadership as an ECMO coordinator and educator within the field of healthcare is just so huge. And she doesn't give herself enough credit, so I'm going to give her that shout out because I know there are like cardiologists asking her, calling her up, asking her questions, and it's just huge. And it's so heartwarming to see these powerful women and thought leaders making such a difference in the world.
Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh, shout out to them both.
Yeah,
Just incredibly proactive business women. And again, you don't have to own a business to be a business
correct.
person, you know.
Hmm.
So I echo that, Jenna. And I would also like to give a shout out to one of my, I consider her when I was uh becoming a career advisor and growing up in my career, a mentor to me. Her name's Rosa Smith Montanaro, and she actually has been recently doing a series called Mindset Makeover, where she will tell you like neuro hacks, like how to hack the nervous system and the logic behind why we take some of the actions we take. So we might have been growing up learning, oh, just take a breath when you're frustrated. And sometimes that can sound like a platitude, like, okay, let me breathe, you know, I'm frustrated. What is that going to do? But she helps you understand the neuroscience behind the why, you
Oh, I
know.
love
So
that.
huge shout out to her.
That's
Mindset makeover.
huge.
Yeah.
Mindset makeover. Okay, well, thank you so much. I think that we'll wrap this up with just any questions, comments. I'll make sure that we address those. And thank you everybody for your patience with us as we navigate the crazy world of LinkedIn Live and Zoom and webinars. And we really appreciate everybody for coming. And anything last parting words that you have, Barbara?
I would say no, just to echo what Jenna was saying about be proactive. If you're going to start anywhere, affirm yourself, be proactive on learning, and then take your baby steps from there, whether it's an Instagram post, a LinkedIn post, maybe your own blog, your news, others, speaking up in a meeting, creating a workshop. There's little things you can do to ease in, but give yourself all the credit in the world and stay proactive to Jenna's point.
Love that so much. Thank you so much. And shout out to you. Let's do more of this once we really figure out the science behind the technology.
We got this. Absolutely, to many more.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Have a great day.